We'd like to introduce our honorable chief guest. For this, I'd like to share a verse in Sanskrit. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Dharma protects those who uphold it. Honorable Justice B.N. Sri Krishna Sir is the former judge of the Supreme Court of India and former Chief Justice of the High Court of Kerala. His contribution to the fields of law, governance, and cultural discourse has left a lasting impression on the society. How many of us remember the Bombay riots of 1992-93? Anyone? Okay. So Justice B.N. Sri Krishna Sir played a pivotal and courageous role during the riots. He headed the official inquiry commission that investigated the communal violence. His landmark commission didn't just investigate the riots, rather, it challenged the most powerful voices. His work is considered a significant milestone in documenting communal violence and seeking accountability in independent India. Sir's introduction would be incomplete without highlighting the remarkable contributions to data protection. Sir led a committee that drafted India's first comprehensive data protection framework. Today, if our personal data is safe, we do owe credit to Sir. Imagine a journey that starts from a science degree and transforms into legal brilliance, from Mumbai's courts to international platforms like Stanford and Oxford. And guess what? Sir शास्त्रीय संगीत में भी काफ़ी रुचि रखते हैं. So let's welcome Honorable Justice B.N. Sri Krishna Sir.
I request Samir sir to please felicitate the memento to sir. Sure.
Thank you. भगिन्याः अतिसरलया संस्कृतभाषया यदुक्तं प्रास्ताविकं तच्छ्रुत्वा मोमुद्यते मम मनः. आधुनिके काले उच्चतरशिक्षण विद्यालयानां मध्ये संस्कृतभाषायाः श्रवणं तु अतिदुस्तरं वर्तते. तत्तु केवलं सोमय्या विद्याविहारे एव श्रोतव्यम् इति अहं मन्ये. तत्कृते धन्यवादाः. To start with, let me apologize for my throat, which is in extremely bad shape since last 2-3 days. Please pardon me for that. Yes, what was said about me, about the fact that I'm connected with the Somayas for the last 3 generations is true. I was just looking at it and saying the foundation day happens to be exactly the age that I have reached. I happen to be... Of course, please don't wish me happy birthday, because it is not my birthday today, but the year certainly. I did know the grandfather Somaya, because he used to come to my Guruji whenever I was a student with him. I used to know his father, Shanti Bhai, and of course I know Samir. I am sorry I'm talking to him and referring to him as Samir, because Samir was a bachcha from all the days. But the good work that has been done has flown from generation to generation to generation. Behind it was what was there, a kalpana, that is the concept of what needs to be done. Kratu Shakti, the ability to design what you want into proper material methods, and the desire to implement it in terms. That is what you have seen over the 3 generations of the Somayas. And today we see the actual beautiful compass here and elsewhere, where education is treated as the ultimate goal of life. Let me diverge a little and talk of what the values of life were considered to be by the Indians in the good old days. The values of life were considered as dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Now, I am proud to say, I am happy to say, I am delighted to say that these values have been transcribed into the modern education only in this institution and have not found it elsewhere. Now, in what manner has it been transcribed makes a very interesting way of discussion. Let us take a look at it. On the 83rd day, it is necessary for us to introspect and understand what is it that we started to achieve, what is it that we have progressed through, and what is it that we have achieved today, and finally, how do we progress from here to what our final goal is. Now, today, we see everywhere in society materialism, consumerism, rat race, cutthroat competition, and which dominates every walk of life. What is this the result of? I'm sorry to say, this is the result of giving education to young minds in an inappropriate way. This skewed education is the result that we see in today's imbalance in society. It is thus necessary for us to pause and reflect on how to incorporate those fundamental values of life which were held sacred and revered by the Indians at one time in the past history. How do we now transcribe that into modern education should be really the effort of all educationists in current times. I've heard people dismissing the idea of mine as retrograde, regressive, and which would take you back thousands of years back and nullify all modern progress and inventions and discoveries that we have made. I'm afraid that is not the truth. I firmly believe that we need drastic course correction in the field of education, without which our ship of life will flounder in the sea without a proper navigational instrument. And that navigational instrument for the life is nothing but education. Now, now let me not talk in general terms. How has the Somaiya University, now I can't call it Somaiya College University institution, it is university. How have the Somaiya institutions transcribed dharma into the modern education? How have they transcribed concepts of artha and kama and moksha also into transcript education? Let's examine that a little more carefully. Dharma is the concept which is quite an expansive concept. Fundamentally, it represents the ethical and moral order that sustains your dharmo vishwasya jagata pratishtha. Dharma is the fulcrum on which the whole universe rests. Dharma extends to every aspect of life, from cradle to the funeral pyre, and therefore, how can we say that we are excluding dharma from education, which is a fundamental issue in life? When we look at Indian history, the ancient Indian thinkers used dharma in the field of education to instill into the students a sense of moral duty and ethics. It was intended to prepare the students to lead ethical lives while discharging their societal roles. The Dharma Shastra texts, with their detailed rules and ethical injunctions, emphasize the critical importance of the righteousness in personal and societal conduct. Today, in educational circles, there is buzz of value-based education. What does really mean? This is expected to be a methodology by which there is character building and generation of social responsibility. The increasing incidences of unethical behavior in personal and professional spaces indicates the singular absence of the values of dharma in education. Today there is talk of integrating social emotion within educational frameworks. This is nothing but an unwitting echo of dharma in its modern interpretation. Students must be taught empathy and compassion and resilience, all of which can create a generation of morally conscious individuals. Today's educational programs, which focus on ethical leadership, can prepare students to make morally sound decisions at every step in their careers and personal lives. This would be the impact of dharma on modern education. Now think, this is exactly what being done in this institution, in this university. Then we come to the next Purushartha, as we call it, the objective of life, Artha. Artha is nothing but material prosperity. Now, our ancients, our Dharma Shastras did not denigrate or decry Artha. They said Artha is absolutely necessary, but you make sure that whether it is Artha, your material prosperity, or Kama, fulfillment of your desires, are all encompassed within the bounds of Dharma. In fact, I think it is the Bhagavad Gita says, no, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. He says, even the Kama, the desires, as long as they are not contradictory, as they do not transgress the bounds of Dharma, he says, are my creations. And then, and the famous injunction of Vyasa Maharshi in Mahabharata, he says, no? He says, dharmad arthascha kamascha tasmat sahikinna sevyate. In fact, what he says is very strong in words. He says, urdhva bahuhu viramyeshaha nahi kaschit shrunoti me dharmad arthascha kamascha sahikinna sevyate. He says, I am shouting from housetops with my hands raised. What am I shouting? Dharma arthascha kamascha. Dharma is the one that leads to artha, material prosperity, and kama, satisfaction of all your desires. He says, why on earth are we not following dharma? Nobody wants to follow dharma. This is the first step in implementation of dharma into modern education. Then we come to material prosperity. Is material prosperity bad by itself? No, it is not bad. It is an essential goal. It is necessary. I think in the invocation they quoted Ishavasya Upanit, no? Ishavasya midagam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagati tena thaktena bhunjitaha magratha kasya dhanam. Then Ishavasya also says, jijivishe chatagam samaha. But ultimately, magratha kasya dhanam. You may please aim to live for 100 years with a healthy body and healthy mind, but don't take away somebody else's property. That is the first injunction that Upanishad tells us. Education in ancient India recognized material prosperity and material success as one of the goals of life and did not denigrate it as long as it was based on upright, moral, and ethical conduct. Thus, there was always a fine balance between the principles of material prosperity along with moral principles. Today, what does the institution where we are sitting here and discussing things do? What does it do? It tries and teaches children how to improve their financial literacy. Treatises have been written by the Westerners on how to reach the goal of crorepati and multi-crorepati in 7 steps or 8 steps. Please note that at all levels, today's emphasis is on cutthroat competition, often degenerating to resort to unethical practices. This has given rise to easy and early burnouts, with overemphasis on financial goals being achieved by hook or crook. By embedding financial prosperity or artha with dharma and imparting vocational training and entrepreneur programs, educational institutions like the present university can encourage students to succeed in life and achieve material prosperity without forsaking their integrity and ethical values. Today we talk of financial education, on which great emphasis is laid. This is nothing but one aspect of Artha used as education. Conventional schools do not emphasize this, although at higher levels, students learn courses on financial management, responsible investment, and social entrepreneurship to teach them how to manage their financial resources with wisdom and responsibility. Lessons on sustainable development, ESG, and corporate social responsibility are basically the rules of Artha grounded in the concept of Dharma in a way that the prosperity of the individual grows along with the prosperity and benefit and betterment of society. The correct appreciation of Dharma-Artha confluence teaches high financial achievements and equally high ethical living, which would improve the material and moral tone of society. This is precisely what is done in this university. Then Kama. Kama is understood in Indian philosophy as unlimited physical enjoyment. Along with an appreciation of physical desires, our Shastras also teach us about aesthetic enjoyment with emotional fulfillment. In fact, I don't know how many of you are aware of this treatise by Vatsyayana called Kama Sutra. It has even been turned into some kind of a movie. Interesting thing, if anybody reads it, either the Kama Sutra or Chanakya's Arthashastra, he starts by saying, I am teaching them in order to be able to control their own senses and direct them into proper channels. It is not a lesson on impropriety, but it is a lesson on propriety of what not to do. Therefore, what is necessary is an appreciation of physical desires. It also teaches about aesthetic enjoyment and emotional fulfillment. That is why you have treatises like Natya Shastra by Bharata Muni. Natya Shastra is nothing but a philosophical discourse on several aesthetic values of a particular calling called dancing. The Greeks have used the word hedonism in somewhat similar fashion, though not fully appreciated the dharma aspect of it, which also resonates with our idea of kama grounded in dharma. In ancient India, the cultivation of artistic and cultural sensitivity was given higher priority, as that would enable the students to appreciate the finer things in life, whether it was art, literature, music, or dance. The dimensions of each was something that was limited by only the bounds of dharma. In fact, there's a saying in Manu Smriti which says, that dharma and the artha and kama are necessary goals in life as long as they are not contradictory to the enjoyment of dharma. In today's highly stressed educational environment, the pursuit of kama is not considered merely refinement of one's mind to appreciate the aesthetical overtones of pleasurable activities in society. It is also not considered a component of the emotional well-being of students. We have creative arts programs, mindfulness training, and emotional intelligence workshops, which are modern versions of kama in education. Encouragement of students to engage in artistic activities like theater, music, and various other forms of creative expression would help them to nurture emotional balance and reduce the stress and anxiety to which present-day generation students are subjected to under the current educational system. The kama element of education should promote the idea that personal satisfaction and joy are as much part of the fulfilling of life as satisfaction and joy for others. There must be an emphasis on evoking in the student's mind a sense of awe, wonder, and appreciation of beauty. The schools must nurture emotional intelligence and creativity, which would again contribute towards the all-round well-being and development of the students. Finally, we come to moksha. Now, people will say, hey, what? They can't teach moksha in Somaiya University. It's intended you have an educational institution, an engineering college, a medical college, a management college. How can they teach moksha? It is necessary to understand what exactly is the concept of moksha and how do you transform this into our everyday life. Moksha, Indian society considered moksha as the ultimate goal or the summum bonum of life. It represented spiritual enhancement and enlightenment. While this may seem quite distant from modern educational practices, in modern educational vocabulary, I would describe it as the cultivation of self-awareness, critical thinking, and personality elevation towards higher consciousness. Concepts of mind awareness, meditation, self-inquiry, and contemplation of nature were considered inevitable parts of education in ancient India. The value of these activities cannot be played down even in the modern context of modern education. To think of moksha in terms of modern education vocabulary would mean the development of the higher order of thinking skills, mindfulness, and the ability to focus on the objectives of life beyond pure material success. Critical thinking workshops, contemplative practices like meditation, mindfulness, vipassana, yoga, and the like are really different aspects of the concept of moksha embedded in the education system. Moksha-centered education emphasizes holistic education and the development of the entire personality of the student, intellectual, emotional, physical, and spiritual also. By emphasizing on the students to reflect on their goals, motivations, and purposes of life, the education would be a panacea to address the several evils of moral degeneration and critical crisis faced by society today. Environmental degradation, global warming, corporate scandals, and social inequalities leading to dissatisfaction, dissension, crime, and violence in society can all be avoided with an emphasis on education, on ethical and moral development. Thus, it is to be seen that there must be a holistic approach to education which should educe the students' intellectual, emotional, ethical, and spiritual quotients. Integration of the concepts of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha into a modern education system will result in well-rounded individuals who will be academically successful, emotionally stable, spiritually advanced, materially prosperous, and will have the maturity to get material prosperity for themselves and the society in a manner that helps either themselves or the society in the long run without running contrary to their own and the society's objectives. These are the absolutely necessary for the students to be geared up to meet the challenges of present day world. Finally, one last word of what education really is. The Mahabharata says in very pithy words, Shruyatam dharma sarvasvam shrutva chaiva avadharyatam atmanah pratikulani pareshanna samacharet. It says, hey, listen to what is the essence of dharma. Having listened to it, bear it in mind all the time. What is it? Paresham pratikulani, whatever is bad for others. Atmana pratikulani, whatever is bad for yours, your own interest, don't do it for others. If you follow this principle in life, everybody in society is happy. You are happy because you are avoiding all problems for yourself. Others are happy because you are not creating problems for others. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, in my own way, I think that it is necessary to incorporate the concepts of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, the real objectives of life, are known as purusharthas, into the education system in modern day world, which is exactly what the Somaiya University has been doing without using these words as freely as I have done. Therefore, my felicitations, my congratulations to this 82nd foundational birthday I am somebody who is part of the family, but outside the immediate circle, watching it grow from strength to strength, and it makes me immensely happy that this is precisely what was contemplated by the grandfather, taken forward by the father, and it's being vigorously pursued by the grandson, Samir Somaya. All my best wishes to him. I hope that he will continue with redoubled vigor, and of course, I will not be present to see the 100th Foundation Day, but may it come with resounding success to all the persons concerned with this, the staff, the faculty, and every student who is studying there. Thank you very much.
Sir, what you have spoken today is completely aligned with, what we encompass education to be. I think your speech will be an integral part of our trainings or wherever we go, be it when we speak to parents, faculty, or the teachers. And you have actually listed everything like a dream world, what education should be. And I'm sure I'm going to hear your speech at least 5 times to really bring about a model of what ideal education has to be. So thank you so much. I think, yes, you can just hear how people are, it was so mesmerizing to hear. And I loved when you said about including Vipassana and Dharma into everyday education. I think that's a very integral part, and all of us will definitely look at it. So, Kratagyata Dharmaha Parama. So, gratitude is the highest virtue. So, thank you so much, sir, for enlightening all of us.